Hello guys, it's Miss McGuire. So today we're going to do something that goes along with what Mrs. Reese did yesterday. She read you a story called Truman. It was about a little turtle that was very brave. Truman is small as a donut, it says. Ours is not going to be quite that small, but Miss McGuire is going to use different art supplies to do the artwork today. So this is the things that you need to have on hand. You need 2 pieces of white paper, okay, or notebook paper would work just as well, but you do need 2 pieces. You need tape or glue. You need a cupcake liner, just one cupcake liner, pair of scissors, some crayons, and some markers, okay? This is one way to do the lesson, but I'll show you another way as we continue to go on today. So let's get started on our brave Truman art piece, okay? So on our first piece of paper that we need to have, we are going to actually use this to draw the head and the body. The head, the legs, and the arms of Truman. We are then going to use the cupcake liner to do the shell. So on the very first step, we need to get the cupcake liner. I just so happen to have some white cupcake liners. If you have colorful ones like pink or yellow or anything like that, that would work as well because you can use markers on them. And it's art, so it doesn't matter if your turtle shell is all green. You can actually make your turtle shell any color you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my marker, and I am going to have a piece of paper underneath my cupcake liner because they tend to want to run. And I'm going to go around my cupcake liner and I'm going to make like little cloud shapes or organic looking wavy shapes to kind of show that this turtle has some abstract shapes on its back, okay? Now after I do that, I chose green. You can choose any color you want, like I said. So I'm just going to fill in those shapes that I made with my marker. We'll color them in, make them dark. Okay, and I'm going to have them all the way around the cupcake liner. I'm going to keep going until I can fill them all up with the marker. And then after I finish all of the coloring of those little shapes I made with the marker, I'm going to get out a crayon in the same family. On my first one I did green and brown. Today on this one I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to use orange, and I'm going to do orange in its background just to show you that it looks good even if you use different colors. And I'm going to color in the background with the crayon to show that his shell is all colorful. Remember to keep your hand on your cupcake liner because if you don't, it may tear. They're really thin, okay? All right, and so after I put the base coat of orange down, I am going to I took some brown and drew some more little shapes on this one. I'm going to use, actually I picked purple, but I don't think purple will show up. So I'm going to choose a darker orange, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a few more little abstract cloud shapes here, and I'm just going to color them in with my crayon just to show that it has different levels of color on it, okay? And then we'll get them all colored in. And then after I do that, this kind of looks like a little piece of camouflage, which is actually what a turtle shell is. That is their camouflage. So after I do that, I have a mess on my paper, but that doesn't mean you can have to throw that away. I just flipped it over, and we'll set my shell to the side. And then I'm going to take my marker, and I'm going to draw, and you can always put the shell back down and just act like you're drawing it on top. See, that would be his head. So now I know what kind of shape to make it. And then this would be his arms. And then this would be his legs. Okay, so when I pick up my shell, then I have these things. So I can just go ahead and make a straight line on all of these so that I know where to cut them. And each one of the legs and the arms, you can make 3 little lines to show that he has toes. And then on his head, you're going to do, of course, his eyes. Okay, and I'm using black, and I'm making ovals, and I'm coloring them in, but I'm leaving a little white area. All right, now I'm going to choose a color to color in my head and arms and legs. I used green on the first one. Since I used orange and green on this one, I think I'm going to do something a little different. I think I'm going to do a really dark green. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to color in my face. And notice I'm not staying in my lines because I don't have to stay in my lines. Because I'm going to cut it out. So it makes it easier sometimes when you can just, and faster when you can just color over it like this. And it doesn't matter if you're coming outside the lines because you're going to cut it out anyway. So you've got that part done. And so now the next part is to actually cut these 5 pieces out of the 1 piece of white paper. Okay, so we're going to cut these out. Now, in the book, Truman is owned by a little girl, or Truman is the pet of a little girl named Sarah. And Sarah ends up going on an adventure. And I won't tell you too much about the book in case you haven't listened to Miss Reese read that yet or not. But it is on Dojo, and she has read it. And it's a really, really cute story. And I think Miss Reese talks to you about some things that you may be doing to be like Truman in this time when we're home and we can't do much and we can't go places and we can't see our friends and that kind of thing. I think Miss Reese talks to you about some of that stuff, and it's a really cute little book, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So now that you've gotten all your pieces cut out, then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to have that second piece of white paper, and you are going to actually tape or glue your pieces to that white piece of paper. So I don't have any glue on hand, so I'm going to use tape, and I'm going to make a tape roll, and I'm just going to stick it to the back of my shell, and I'm going to make about 3 of those so that it stays down. And I'm making tape rolls by rolling them over to where the sticky side is up, and I'm going to put them all around the back of my shell. So then I'm going to place that into the center of my white piece of paper, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the heads and the legs and arms of this turtle, except for they don't take as many pieces. So I've got 1 piece on the head. I'll probably do 1 piece on each leg and arm until we have assembled an entire turtle. So I've got it rolled over here, and we're going to just start putting them together. To create our little turtle piece. I just thought it would be fun to have a different material to use in art today. Instead of just doing it with paper, we used a cupcake liner. Different materials in art are called art media or mediums. You can say it either way. That is just a fancy way to saying art supplies. So art supplies can be just about anything. It can be found objects. It can be new things. It could be all kinds of things. If you had tuned in and watched my last YouTube video, it was on making art out of pretzels and chocolate. So you could have ate that one. That one's a cool little have a treat if you have the stuff on hand. So now that we've got our turtle all assembled, then Miss McGuire just did some things around the turtle that reminded her of the story. Yours doesn't have to be like this. Yours can be what you remember from the story. I remember that they described Truman as being as small as a donut. So I drew a little donut up here, which I tease and say that it looks something like a baked potato, but I tried anyway. That's supposed to be a donut. And I wrote brave at the top because Truman has to be very brave. And then, of course, I put his name at the bottom. And some of the things that he said inside the story that stuck out to me were that he felt like he was waiting 1,000 hours. And so I wrote over here, 1,000 hours is a long time. And then at the end of the book, he shouts the little girl's name because he's happy. So I made a speech bubble and wrote her name in it because that's something he would do. Now, you do not have to do that around this if you do not like that, if you want to do something else. All of this space around him is called a background. And so all of this back here is for you to create. You can write words, and I'll tell you, just like I tell you in class, if you're going to write, then you make sure that you ask an adult or you look up how to spell something correctly, because you need to have the correct spelling on your art, okay? So, on this one, there is a little girl in the book. Her name is Sarah. We've talked about that. On this one, somebody could want to maybe draw Sarah, okay? They might want to draw Sarah. Sarah has brown hair, I think, as I remember. So you might want to draw her if you would like. This is supposed to be a profile of her. You can draw a little picture of Sarah, maybe in the corner, smiling at Truman. And then you can maybe possibly draw maybe her body. This is endless ideas that you could do with your little piece of artwork. It's really up to you on what you do with the background. But here's a different idea that you could do if you wanted. I'm drawing with marker. If you do not feel comfortable doing that, you could also draw with pencil and then trace it. Okay, so there's Sarah, and I think she has on a backpack in the story, so you could put a backpack on her back if you wanted to, and color that in. Put her little straps around her back or whatever. So she has on a backpack, and so there's Sarah, and you could use different materials such as markers and crayons to give her some color in her outfit. And I've made her very colorful today, as you can see. So I guess Miss McGuire's feeling colorful today. This does not have to be it. Or if that's all you want to do, then that's all you need to do. I do like to write his name on the paper because I just think it tells me who he is. Truman is the title of the book. Miss McGuire put it in parentheses because most of the time when you talk about a title of a book, you either underline or put it in parentheses. So there's just different ideas that you can do. You can also do speech bubbles on him. When you look and watch Miss Reese read this book, you will come up with all kinds of different ideas, all right? So have fun creating this piece of artwork. If you do not have a cupcake liner, you do not need one. All you have to do is just draw a circle and do your shell and cut the shell out and glue it down, and then you'll have exactly the same piece of artwork with just different materials. Like I said, you can be as creative as you want. I love to see your art. Please have your parents send them to me through Dojo or email. I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to shoot me a little email or a little message in Dojo about how you liked the videos and which videos you liked the best. Actually, you could even tell me something that you would like to see me help you draw. I would take all of that into consideration, okay? So you guys have a good day. Keep your hands clean. Have a good time. Play in the sun. I miss you. I hope to be back at school sometime soon. There's always hope. So stay brave. Bye, guys.